We're going to call the meeting to order, Shelton SISD Board of Trustees Workshop at 6:35. Begin with a prayer. Thank you, Father God, for bringing us together this evening to conduct the business of the school district for Shelton ISD. We thank you for all the presenters, all our guests, staff, and everyone that's here that joined us this morning that's going to present. Allow us supernatural wisdom to receive the information and make great decisions for all of our stakeholders, our students, staff, and community. Father God, thank you that we are here this evening. I lift up those who are not with us, for anything they may be going through, Father God. Allow us to get through this business and then get started on our next meeting. Thank you, Father God, for all that you've done. In Jesus' name we pray. Let the record show, board members present, exception of Ms. Miles, Ms. Palmer, and Ms. Cormier. Dr. McCall, reports and discussions, bond and facilities.
Yes, I want to start off by thanking the board for making arrangements to be here for our board workshop. As you know, in the month of October, we were not able to have a workshop because of fall break. And in November, we were not able to have a workshop because of our normal workshop because of election day. And so we want to bring some information to you today in our reports that will be coming up on our general board meeting for you to review and approve. And so without further ado, we'll start with bond facilities, and Mr. Webster will come up along with some support from Huckabee.
I think they're a little later.
No, kind of towards the end. Okay.
Your turn.
Of course, happy Thanksgiving, because everybody gets a week off from Sheldon ISD next week. Okay, so some other people, we get a full week off. So let's talk a little bit about Knoll Middle School. These are some of the pictures. It's moving along well. We've hit a couple hiccups when we did our piers. So we're looking at that. We're looking at a couple options. One is slurry and the other is case pier. So that's just because the ground, we hit water at a certain depth. So we've got to make sure. So there's a little bit of a change order there that we're working on right now. They've sent that to us. We've sent it back just to make sure things are right. Now, you may have heard also that there's been some water inundation in some of the classrooms, and that is right in this area on this side. When we take that awning down, that water then collects. That water is seeped in. We're working with our envelope consultant. We got an email today saying that they feel like that again is in a good spot, but we're bringing in Armco to act on our behalf as a building envelope consultant, so that they can say like, hey, this is what we need to be doing. I know that this is what Stantec says, or this is what the contractor says. We need a consultant on our side. And so the board's already approved that. And then you'll see that retention pond work that they're doing also. Cravens, again, this one's going very well. We're on target. The week after Thanksgiving, we'll have the slab poured, and then the steel will be delivered. So you'll start seeing structural steel that week, December 1st. Okay, and so now I want to talk a little bit about also exhibit concepts. We're moving full steam ahead. We showed you some of those pictures before. This is the next set of renderings. So here you're going to see the polar region, and this is the left brain classroom, and then the polar region, the right brain classroom is over here. That polar region classroom then flips at semester and becomes on the road. So you'll see that rather than having some of the polar signage, we go to more of a hiking theme. The mat changes from ice and water to more of a map theme, and then same way with those graphics that are changing. The tabletops, those flip over so that the room becomes interchangeable, and so then that is the on the road right brain over here. So it goes from the polar to the on the road. Okay, I know it's small. And then the other one that we are really excited about is our pet vet and amazing animals. So our pet vet left brain is up here, and you'll see it's a veterinarian clinic. They've got like the carriers for the animals, and then they can put their animals in the cubbies. This is the left brain, and then that flips. So the signs flip, become amazing animals. The vet clinic sign switches out, it becomes a wildlife observatory. And then on the bottom, you'll see those right brain classrooms. And what we have here is more of a chateau, I'm sorry, it's a pet vet clinic on this side. On that side, it is a safari chateau, okay? And so in here, there's a little examining table for the kids so that like they can bring the animals, whether it's a stuffed animal or maybe, maybe they're gonna have animals in the room. They would be able to look at them, and you'll see in the pet vet, you have your animals in your, through the windows. And then there's a little place for them to put their veterinarian coats up, and there'll be a scale. We added that. And then it switches over here to safari, and then this becomes the ticket booth for your dramatic play, where you can get your tickets for your safari, and you'll see that the windows have changed. And then this is like your sand and water table. The animals change on some of these, so that here you have a giraffe, and here you have your other animals throughout. So you'll see those things changing, same way with the rugs and the tables, so that these classrooms serve dual purpose. But I think whether you walk in the fall or whether you walk in the spring, I think that they're very attractive. And so we're really happy with this. We have our next meeting set for December 5th, December 5th, and they're going to be bringing us 4 more themes. So we were supposed to have the next 2, but because of Thanksgiving, so we're going to do the next 4. Any questions on exhibit concepts?
I just want to know who is going to be in charge of flipping everything.
Well, so that's, we could have, maintenance can do some of that, but a lot of this can just be done simply by the classroom teacher or aide, where like these, you just take them and you just turn them over. These just slide in at the top, so you just pull them out. You put in the other one. They're all very, very simple. So even the top here, you just take it and flip it over, okay? The rug, flipping it over. We wanted to make it very, very easy, because what you're gonna see is if you look, the backdrop is the same. This will have to be changed, but our custodians could get on like a ladder and just flip that over. Same thing, this vet clinic is here, but on the back of it is the wildlife observatory. So it's very interchangeable. Now the bird here, he's not changing. He's just gonna stay, okay? Because he's gonna be for the pet vet and for the safari. So we've been going through these activities. We have a few more to go. And so we're really excited about where we're at. We're hoping to be done this semester with those designs, so that we can concentrate on grade 5 finishes and our plan. So when we talked to Exhibit Concepts today, they said that they'll be able to do this in 5 weeks and install this in the classroom in 5 weeks. So we're going to move all that through. Our plan is for this to be ready, and then focus on Sheldon Early Childhood also, because those walls are CMU, so those are concrete block. So there'll be some different changes there to make sure that those walls fit. So tonight, there are a few action items, and so just want to talk a little bit about those. The public address system and clocks at Garrett, Carroll, and Monahan. This will complete the entire upgrade for the district for clocks and public address systems. These are the 3 last schools. The last time we came, we talked about Knoll, upgrading that. Before that, we talked about Sheldon Early Childhood and Sheldon Elementary and Royalwood. Garrett, Carroll, and Monahan are the last schools. So this was planned to be done in summer of 2024. We really think that we can move this up, especially given the break in February and the break in March, that we can do this. The next item that is on the board agenda is the restriping of Community Drive. Now, if you turn off C.E. King Parkway and you go to Sheldon Lake, that whole street, that paint has come off. That is a thermoplastic paint. When that is first applied, oftentimes it doesn't take the first time. But what we can do is we can restripe that. We can go back in, we can take that off, restripe that, and then turn the road over to the county. The county has done their inspection. This is the last thing that we have left to do. If we can get this striped, get it painted, I'm sorry, which is striped. If we get it painted, we can turn it over to the county. It will be a county road. And then from now on, maintenance is theirs. If we wait to do this, then any maintenance that occurs, any maintenance needs that occur between now and the time that the road is ultimately turned over to the city would be ours. So we've had some, do you want to jump in real quick and tell them what we've done so far on that road? Frank?
So the county came out in August 30th and did a punch list on the road work. So there was we had to re-caulk the expansion joints. We patched some curbs that were cracked. We patched some sidewalks that were cracked. Whereas one section of pavement wasn't holding up, so they excavated that and re-poured that section of paving. They put up a new barricade over by the landscape management building. And the only thing left there is now to restripe the road. Duratech at their expense came back and did all that other work other than the restriping. And then, so if we get this restriping done, so we had the inspection on the 30th of August. We have until November the 30th to get the striping in. The striping company can do this next week. Everybody's out. Well, then we'll call the county to come back and accept the road. And this time, when they accept the road, then they immediately take responsibility of the road. They'll have to take it to commissioner's court, and commissioner courts will have to vote on it as far as it being a dedicated street to the county.
We went out earlier and got bids, but a couple of the bids we felt were like they were much higher. So this last time we talked to Stripes and Stops.
Yeah, we got prices from 3 other people, and the original price was over $150,000. We're down to $103,000 right now.
Okay. Any questions on this?
Well, why did county accept it the first time after in 2020?
I don't know the answer to that. I don't know why it was not finalized with the county.
Okay, and how long should the striping last once it's put down? We're 3 years into this campus and that street, and coming up, why isn't any of this covered under a warranty? Because it didn't happen this year. When I first noticed, it was 2 years ago at homecoming parade, and it was already bad. So that was in 2021. So now we're getting stuck with at least $103,000 bill to restripe something that only lasted not even a year and a half, maybe, because we didn't even have school during 2020. So there was no traffic on that road. So, I mean, I'd like a little bit of a resolution of why we're
Paying for that.
paying for that.
Yeah. And and we absolutely, that was part of it. I mean, like, we could go back and try to get, Duratech did all the other work. They're saying they're not doing that one right now. We could go back at them, and try to get them to do it. The problem there is any other maintenance in the time that it takes for us to come to a resolution with them, whether that's going after their bond, bringing in our legal, those fees associated and any maintenance fees in the future, we would be on the hook for. I know, but looking at the entire bond package, I think that it's a significant investment, but at this point, we have to do something.
Well, we're taking the hit on multiple projects on these, from the elementary, from Sheldon Lake, from the water to the windows, and now the road. We redid Sea King Parkway, right? We had that redone.
We did, you're right, on Sea
Yeah,
King
we had
Parkway with
redid
the
the costs on
ground.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah, so these are all fights that we're just assuming that we're responsible, and I don't, now, maybe in the contract, the warranty was 6 months, or a tail light warranty, once you don't see the tail lights, it's done. And if that's the case, and that's what we sign, that's what we sign. But if there should be some warranty on something that's gonna last on the road a little bit longer than a year, especially of no use.
Brendan, do you know anything on it, Mr. Hoffman?
None of the warranty per se with regards to thermoplastic, but thermoplastic normally will over the last 2 years. We've seen it time and time again. Even if this one is applied, I think Harris County will be back in 2 years replacing it again.
The thermoplastic was applied back in 2019. So, I wasn't here then, and I think, so in August of 2019, the county did an inspection. In March, they came out and did a re-inspection. And I don't know where the ball got dropped, but when the year time went by, nobody called for a final inspection or something. And then when, I guess you brought it to everybody's attention, hey, how do we get their street restriped? We called the county. The county says, well, nobody's ever completed the paperwork for us to accept the roads. How all that happened, I don't have any idea.
So why would we go back? Is there another option besides thermoplastic that's got, that's gonna last longer, whether we just?
We did.
We see.
We have.
So I asked the inspectors, I asked the county engineer, Michael and I had a talk to the county engineer. We'd rather use paint. Paint's cheaper. And they all said, no, we need thermoplastic. We only accept thermoplastic.
Yeah, he wouldn't accept anything else except that.
And I asked the inspector that came out and did it and goes, no, thermoplastic. And then we took his note, then Michael and I actually called the engineer or the county engineer, the district engineer, and he says, no, the only thing we'll accept is thermoplastic.
Which, I find that interesting because I'm not sure that when you're looking at that Sea King turn lane, that's
not
thermoplastic. I agree. There's some other areas.
It's still holding up.
When we did the turn lane at Knoll over here, I think that was just paint.
So,
So it's interesting that they're pretty much signing up to do work every couple of years on that road.
They are.
and it'd be cheaper for them, and I wouldn't be surprised if they come back in 2 years if they use paint.
Wow.
But to get this road signed off, the only thing they're gonna accept is the thermoplastic.
Now, with our, ninth and 10th grade center going, off Sheldon Community Drive, do we have any particular concerns with that? If we not do this work and turn over the roads and count.
Well, the problem with, if you don't turn, so we have until I think the first week of December to get this work done and get the county back out to inspect the road. We can ask for maybe a week or two extension. But if we decide to wait until a year from now to do it, then if anything else happens to the road, if any more curbs get broken, if any street signs get destroyed or whatever, then we have to go back and replace all those, because then they'll come back and do a total reinspection of the whole road.
Mm-hmm.
So what we're trying to do is get this over and out, done, and here it is, county, it's your road now.
So let's say during the construction process, there's some damage to the road. Are we on the hook for that?
We'll be responsible. So we'll have to widen the road or put a right turn lane in off of Sheldon Community Drive into the ninth grade center. We'll have to make that tie-in, and while they do that work, if they damage that road, then the contractor will have to fix that section of the road that they may damage. There'll be some restriping, I'm sure, that will have to be done at that point. But again, when we finish that road, we'll make sure that the proper procedures are used in the correct time frame. So when the road work is finished, the county, here it is, it's yours now.
But if we were not to turn it over and we built the 9th and 10th grade center, any damage that occurs along the road,
Minus construction.
Whether it's at our
Construction,
side
they're
or
gonna
not.
be responsible for that. So we're gonna have to do a left turn and a right turn lane?
If I have to we'll have to do a right turn lane if you're going east on Sheldon Community Drive and turn into the property. You already have a left turn, we already have a left turn, we already have a center lane there
Yeah,
to make a
That's
left
where
turn.
it widens out.
Make a left, yes, sir. Because right now the road's 36, it's 3 12-foot lanes there, just, they have the buttons going down the middle so people don't drive down it without having to hear,
So
get on the
once we
bumpers.
do that, we're gonna have to restripe that for the left turning lane, so we'll have to.
Correct, yeah, we'll have to
Get up all
restripe that.
Fentanyl Plaza again and then pay more money to have it restriped.
But that'll be part of the 9th, 10th grade center work.
Construction costs.
I get that, but it's still money being paid. I mean, I don't, if
But
we
we'll
pay
have-
it now, we gotta redo it then, we're gonna have to redo it, and it's still money that's.
We won't have to restripe the entire
No.
road work, it's like, because this involves Innovation Drive that comes off of Garrett, it involves coming off the Beltway, it involves coming off CU King Parkway. We'll only have to do the 2,600 feet of making you usually have a 1,300 foot right turn lane. So there's only be about 1,300 feet that we'll have to redo with the 9th, 10th grade center.
So this is my question, and LAN and Huckabee, and is there any reason why maintaining control of this road before we go into construction or while we're in the construction process is beneficial for the district? Are there things that we will not have to deal with if we maintain control of this road while we're going through the 2-year construction process?
You'll be responsible for all these roads.
Is there a
Renovation Drive.
benefit? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, we won't be maintaining them.
The
No.
the
If we were to
benefit is
keep,
that
if we
were
kept
to
the road,
keep control of
if
the
we
road
kept control of the road, is there a benefit?
while we're going through the construction
Absolutely not.
process, is there a benefit?
Absolutely not,
Okay.
because the maintenance costs will all be ours. And the fact that once we start construction, let's say April, May, with all the heavy construction, the concrete trucks, the whole bit, if we did not turn over to the county now, we'd have to eat all of the costs associated with that.
So Dr. McCollum, over to answer your question. So it is a county road, still right now today, so you have to have a traffic control plan regardless. You have to have submission to the county to cut their road in the future, because it's technically their road. The easements are granted, everything was passed back when all those were drawn up as agreements back in the day. So they own the road. They don't own the maintenance of the road.
We
They don't
own.
anything that they don't.
So they already own the road.
Correct.
They just own it.
So you still have to apply for all the same permits, all the same variances to use that space. So it only goes to the county for you to maintain control, because you're simply going to have to, what Mike was saying, you're simply going to have to continually upgrade that road, any curb cuts, any damages to the that barricade that's over there by the maintenance building. All of that will still have to be maintained by the district.
So when you split it like that, it makes sense then. I was just concerned about it. We're gonna go through this construction process, and if we could maintain control of the road and that entire site, then it would be beneficial. But if you're saying they already have control of the road, we're just on the hook for maintenance, then that's another consideration.
How much is that road getting torn up? I mean, what have we done in maintenance? And Durotech, you said, came in and did some work right now.
They did the curbs, they did all, like, they redid the expansion joints between each,
Every 60 feet, you got expansion joint has rubber plastic cover
Yeah.
in it. So every year or so, you have, that stuff oozes out as the road contracts and oozes it out. So to redo the caulking in that every year, then that's gonna be $20,000-$30,000 right there. If we don't get this street turned over to the county, by the first part of December.
So once we turn it over to the county, and then we start working, doing our construction, all the big trucks come through, mess up the concrete, the county's responsible for that.
County be responsible for that.
yeah, it's just like if our trucks mess up CE King Parkway. So
just
they
like-
would, but
If potholes develop in the road, and if we don't get it turned over in December, then the school's on the hook for repairing any potholes. Now, this is a concrete road, so hopefully no potholes develop, but if it's some do, then the school's on the hook for repairing the potholes. But if we get it turned over, then the potholes develops, and it's the county has to take care of the pothole.
The next item is the Ag Barn Architect of Record. That is, IDG, GPD, sorry. I'm so sorry, Tom. Get all the initials mixed up. So GPD had already done the Ag Barn assessment. And so now we have been working with them on developing a contract of items. And we had one iteration of the contract, and we we could have brought that, but we went back, got a better deal. We were able to make some changes and stuff. So they will be working on some projects. I gave you this list earlier, but I wanted to give you an updated list of the Eichhorn projects. And we have outlined who's going to be doing what projects. And so just kind of to let you know, I think you have the information in your board packet about the cost, but they will be coming out and they'll have a civil engineer, they'll have other engineers taking care of things that we simply cannot take care of. Now, maintenance has already started. Thank you to Dr. Saeed. Dr. Saeed went out and got some bids on the lighting out here at the Ag Barn. Dr. Saeed, do you want to talk real quick about what those bids came in at?
Sure. So got a couple of bids. One was right around 80 grand and the other one was a little over 60,000. Now that we have master electricians on our team, we're able to say, okay, if we purchase the material ourselves, what would it cost us to do those things, in-house? So material cost is less than $10,000, and team is working on it over the weekend, so it's overtime rather than paying some external company to come and charge us $80,000 for things that we can do a whole lot cheaper. We've already started. Majority of the lights have been replaced, and whatever's left will continue on. I would say in the next couple of weeks, we should be done with that project. We also started painting inside the building. We've changed most of the wall-mounted signs, so they are brand new. These are the warning signs or things that people look at right away. We've also power washed the entire venue, and also the siding. So if you walk in there now, you will see, and the new lights are just, bright and shiny.
Yeah. So a lot of those things we're trying to have, as much as we can do in-house, we're trying to have that done. Maintenance is working on that. GPD has a list. They've been down there. We know that there's some concerns with the roof. We've had some leaks, things like that. We're going to have to do some work on the floor. We want to make sure that the Ag Barn is operating the best it can. We have a new fence that a gate, I should say. We've got a quote on the sliding gate. We are planning to wait on that until we get electrical ran so that we can use the key card entry for that so that we can monitor when people are coming in and out. We are looking at doing new fencing all the way around, making sure that the grade is correct, putting some fans in there to make sure that other work is done. And you have a long list of items that are here. And Dr. Stewart's going to talk about this too. I just want to real quick talk about the last action item tonight, and that is just the Knoll Middle School. It is balancing the air system. As we add a new wing, we need air conditioning from that current chiller to go to the new wing. So this is about testing the air and balancing that so that when you open up the vent to go to the new wing, you have an appropriate amount of air from that chiller. Otherwise, that's coming off of a pipe that may not be getting as much cubic feet of air per minute or per second. So it's just balancing that, making sure that that's all adjusted for the new wing that's coming on. Okay, Dr. Stewart, you want to talk a little bit about Ag Barn?
So as JR kind of shared and Dr. Saeed chimed in on, focusing on the facilities pieces, we're also trying to make sure that that's also being matched by supplies and the experience that the students are receiving while they go into the FFA programming. And so we want to just kind of share with you, of course, for everyone sitting in the room, we do have the show that's coming up shortly. The show will be on the 11th and 12th, and then our auction is on the 13th. Even though the deadline has passed to be a sponsor, we will, of course, work with anyone who is still willing to donate and be a sponsor for our FFA programming. So that's just a little plug there. You can actually pull your phone out if you'd like to go ahead and, get on the online form or make a payment. We will take that right now as well. We'll take digital cash, and we will take the kind that folds and jingles as well for our kiddos. But we have the different levels, and we've been kind of actively getting out there. I know the students that are more and more getting out there, trying to get their sponsors and trying to get, drum up support for the show. And of course, always the best way to raise funds is when our students are the ones really showcasing their skill set in front of our community. So we also have currently at our barn 8 sheep, 16 goat, 9 pigs, and 19 cattle. So we actually have more animals this year than we had last year. We can see that the program is growing, and that the kids are actually enjoying the experience as they've kind of gone through it, as we meet with them while they're at the barn, right? Being able to actually see the kids and have them share stories of where they've come with their animal thus far. And we don't want to take too much time, but we also wanted to share with you guys, when we downloaded this PowerPoint, that went all over the place. But we also wanted to share just some of the supplies that we've had. We've made sure to continuously keep an inventory to make sure that we have everything that we're supposed to have for the kids. And we've added a couple of little new things, right? So we talked about the scale. You'll actually see those scales on the list. So we did get a large scale and a small scale instead of one combined. They're both digital. They're brand new models. And in your package, you have that information that kind of talks about those. And our Ag Mech students were actually the students, they helped put it together, right? That was one of the big pieces to also allow them to be a part of that experience. And then we've continued to do our bi-monthly sand. We want to make sure that we're always, keeping it so that the pens can stay really clean for the animals. We're trying to increase as well our pig walkers. And you'll see here that we've added some wheelbarrows, we've added some brooms. We usually keep this number about, but as those items get used, we want to make sure that we just replenish them as they get used. So far, our students are being able to use all of these each and every day, and we're excited to have both of those new scales. Now, the next thing that we're looking at is we are focusing on bringing in clinics. We've actually had a clinic already for our small animals. But we're going to continue to bring in clinics so that way our students have the opportunity to really get to see the tricks and tips to be able to show. So they bring in a little more money when they show their animal. But the neatest part is because we're having it staggered, it also helps prevent any kind of scheduling conflicts that families may have. We really try to give them the best opportunity for those students who have those particular animals to also match that same schedule with our coaches who come out. You guys know who've been in the FFA world. It is a tight-knit community, so a lot of times we're reaching out to the same people who are helping other school districts. So that's why we started a little early this year to make sure to start scheduling those so that we didn't run any scheduling conflicts. And then we really focused on adding some new supplies. We really wanted to start to reconceptualize what that experience is for our kids, and then, to make sure that we have the most up-to-date tools when possible. So one of the things that we're pretty excited to be able to actually bring in is we're looking to order a sub pump. That way, in Houston, we get quite a bit of moisture, precipitation. So we just want to make sure that we're able to move that water so that it doesn't just sit in areas that cause problematic issues. And then we're also trying to add the portable pig waterers so that those animals, they're able to receive the adequate amount of water during the periods when students are coming in and out, and adding some leaf blowers, which really help minimize the amount of dirt and things in the area. So we'll continue to work with them, but to be honest with you, it's been a pretty easy process. We just kind of talk with the FFA folks about what they need, our teachers, and they're willing to just kind of say, hey, we need this, and if we can get this, we'll take this. And so Ms. Taylor's been really supportive of just making sure to try to find those funds when we need it, as well as the support that we're getting towards the facilities, right? We're knowing that as we upgrade the facilities, as we upgrade the experience, that our kids will benefit from it. Any questions about any of this? We actually have a video, but it's not going to show. So then as we go through, these are some things that we do. We tried to do a comparative to our closest districts. We're literally right. Our elbows bump their elbows. They're that close. And we wanted to see roundabouts what that experience is and what we're providing. And what you guys can see is that I imagine a lot of it's due to the work that's been done at the board level, the superintendent level, with facilities and maintenance is that we've been able to maintain and keep some of our items and provide more than what surrounding school districts have been supplying. And so we've actually had students as they've come in, and we've been able to get testimonies from them about how it's kind of nice that they have a little more here that they don't have to go purchase. Occasionally as well, some of the things we don't provide, we do have students who can't afford those things. So as a community, we rally around and we try to make sure that the kids get it really quickly for whatever they need. But big things that we usually have to do that for is a stall fan, right? Because students are required to bring their own stall fans for their animals. Sometimes we have to get in there and kind of work as a community to make sure that the kiddos can get that stall fan. It's clearly the animals need those. And then the facility hours. So that's really consistent. It's really, really consistent. And it comes straight out of the FFA manual. So that's why you'll see you can't, most of them don't have beyond a 10 p.m. and earlier than a 5 a.m. And so you can go a little less, right? That's why we see one of our local districts is actually at 9 a.m. And then the other piece is just to really give the shout out to working on towards getting us that electronic keying process to move away from our combination key or a physical key. One of our local districts actually signs out a physical key to all students. And when we use a combination that we change, and then we give the families the new combination. But we're really looking forward to getting to the electronic key process. Any questions about this comparison? So.
I asked Dr. Stewart to put this together for a couple of reasons, but the main reason is just to, first of all, give you all a shout out as a board for how much you support our, ag programs in comparison to some other districts in the area. But also, and I want to credit Dr. Stewart for this. He's been really working with the ag teachers to get them out of that mindset that we just do whatever it takes. We'll do it. We'll figure it out. And it's more so of them saying, this is what we need, and feeling comfortable in doing that. And so I think they're comfortable. I think they tend to be quite comfortable based on purchase orders, but nevertheless, it's about making it a better experience for our students. And they've worked hard. They just say, we'll make it work. We'll make do. But we're just getting them to think differently about that, so we'll continue working on.
Okay. Just real quick before Huckabee comes up, just some other projects that we have going on. We've completed our roof assessments for all campuses. So we are going to be reporting out those findings and bringing action items on those roofs that need replaced. The good thing is because the board has committed to building new buildings like Knoll and Carroll and Garrett, those roofs are under warranty. So we've been pulling those warranties. We've been bringing them out. The knock had a significant leak. We got that warranty pulled. We got them out to make sure that that was done. We are auditing the BAS system. That's the building automated system for KMS and the 9th grade. This is the one that runs the air conditioner. It opens the valves. It tells how to flow. And it's old. It's definitely seen better days. And so we're looking at that. We're doing a marquee assessment across the district. If you've driven by Sheldon Elementary, there's just kind of at a slant. Okay, we have some that are LED and digital, and we have some that are, put the letter in. So we've done that, and we're going to bring forth some recommendations. We're working with IDG for the bathroom renovations to be done at Monahan and Royalwood this summer. Going through all of that, looking at the pipes underneath the building at Royalwood. The CTE sliding gate design and estimate are due on December 6th. This is that area right outside of the auto lab at the high school, so that we could consider fencing that in so that if kids are outside, they're still inside of an area. We are finishing our district-wide fence assessment. Dr. Dearman has been instrumental in that. She's worked on grants to help pay for this. So a lot of the change from a 6-foot gate that we talked about to 8 feet, a lot of that's paid for out of grant funds. So that's not something that we're going to have to, as of right now, spend a lot of our bond funds on that we were planning on using for security. Also, our KMS auditorium lighting assessment, that is due. Our Crenshaw bleacher assessment is due December 6th. We are also having the softball field press box. The assessments for that are due December 6th. And then we know there was a drought this summer. And if you've driven across the district, you see dead trees and you see dead shrubs. And so we have a plan. Dr. Saeed, Dr. McCall and I drove the district. We're going to start pulling out the dead shrubs, the dead trees. You'll see that this semester because we don't have to do as much mowing in the winter. So those yard crews are coming in. So we have to go and purchase and plant new trees. But I'm trying to save us some money. And Harold Dutton's office contacted us today, and they want to plant 126 trees at Monahan. Did you hear that? I'm sorry, I was wrong. 127 trees. They want to plant 127 trees at Monahan. So while I was on the phone with them, I said, well, who's doing it? And they said it's a program called Trees for Houston. It's not Representative Dutton's office, but they're working as an intermediary. I was like, gosh, it would be really nice if they would do some other schools. We lost a whole line of trees right down the Beltway in front of the high school. And he said, well, you just tell them where you want trees, and they will give you the trees and they'll plant them. Oh gosh, it would be really nice if they did shrubs, wouldn't it? And he said, well, they do. You tell them what you need and they'll try to get it taken care of. I said, well, that would be just great. It'd be really nice if they donated cars. No, I'm kidding. So anyway, so Dr. Saeed and I have already talked, and we're going to start working. We're going to get the connection at Trees for Houston, and we're going to see if they will donate those trees. We can pull them out. They'll plant them. That will be a significant cost savings for us because we're not planting trees and we're not purchasing trees. And this is an organization that is a green organization that wants trees in Houston. So come on down. So we're working on that. Just letting you know that. So I'm hoping that we can bring them out and we can drive the district and we can start saying this is where we need trees and this is where we need shrubs. Okay. So we have that. Also, Crenshaw Stadium. This is right now the recommendation for the new scoreboard. Okay. It's just a middle school scoreboard, simple. It says Crenshaw Stadium. It says Sheldon ISD. We did leave these for sponsors, but you can always just go with those as solid blue if we're not able to get sponsors for the middle school stadium. And we are able to change the letters so that if it was null or if it was rented out, we could change that. This is actually below $50,000. And so we can move forward with that. Andre's working on sound still. And so we can move forward with getting a new scoreboard. If the board, any thoughts on this one?
White spots, for the sponsors, is that a physical sign that has to be put, or is that digital?
It's not digital, it's a film.
It's gonna be blue. I have a.
This will be, yeah, it's gonna be solid blue in case there's not a sponsor. We just put this just to show that it's a wrap that goes around that blue.
And then the sound system, what is that gonna?
It's actually what the Sheldon ISD is. That's actually a box, the casing that we have out from now. It's gonna get moved down, so that's why you have the space on both sides.
Is there anything from the current system, whether it's amps or receivers, that we'd be able to utilize? Everything's got to be new.
They're gonna tie me in with their audio team, and then they'll come out and look at it and see what we could use and what we need. That'll be the next phase if we have to change out anything.
Now, just on this picture, just to let you know, we are not buying a water tower. So, but I'm gonna turn this over real quick. To Brandon Hoffman. Oh, I don't disagree with you. I don't know how to do that one at the old one that said Oilers.
Well, they pulled that one down on night.
Oh, no. Well, then never mind. It's not there anymore.
Good evening. So we are going to give you a little bit of update. We're going to really focus on the building right here in the middle, the physical education facility. So you can see it's kind of located adjacent to the high school, but in between the 9th and 10th grade center. And that really is to help with some travel dimensions as we move towards the actual plan itself. The plan represents about 30,000 square feet. Chris has the actual number. It's like 30,640, 30, sorry, square feet. But it has a centralized weight room. It has some locker rooms. It has some toilet facilities, and an ability for students to be able to use this space. And it's not incorporated into the square footage of the actual 9th and 10th grade center. So we're able to pull that out and put this here. Just wanted to make sure y'all were aware there are laundry, there are lockers, there are just spaces that can be used for those athletes.
Training also, trainers.
Yes, sir. Yes. On the outside, in order to match the vernacular, the language that's been established around, sorry, I'm standing in front of it, to match the language around the rest of the facility, we made sure to use similar materiality, make sure to follow that brick pattern that has been established. the size and type of font, the Panther, really keeping it as a simple structure, not to overshadow anything else. It is over by your fields and your outbuilding, so it's not to take away from anything else. Keep it short, but also have a nice presence for the athletes. When you get inside, you can see a lot of focus on that weight room centralized with a lot of power, a lot of data, a lot of things that go to these pieces of equipment. Very similar to what is going to be at the existing high school. Fans, circulation, travel paths, and all students having access to it. Tried to keep it really short and sweet. I know we're on a tight timeline.
Any questions on that facility? Okay. Hey, Dr. Stewart?
All right. So really quickly, guys, we wanted to give an update on the request about some information and some unique opportunities for our dental assistant, dental hygienist programs. There are very few throughout the state, even fewer throughout the state in the Region 4 area, but we wanted to give you some information. So first being dental hygienist opportunity. It is an associate's degree program that provides students a really strong, very strong economic prowess as they graduate from this program and give them some economic opportunities they wouldn't receive otherwise. And that program that we're going to discuss is very similar to what our NIT program would look like if we were to try to move forward and progress with it. And then there's the dental assistant program. That programming focuses more on dual credit immediately upon as students graduate, them being able to take a certification exam. So we want to kind of share with you just what the requirements are for both. So the closest partner that we're able to locate for the dental hygienist programming is HCC. So, and it's their central campus. They actually have at HCC, the central campus, a program. It is a cohort model though. So what that means is that our students, they would have to meet the prerequisites through dual credit programs that we offer, which each one of these courses we are able to offer. They meet those prerequisites and they would apply in the spring, be accepted during that time frame to start the coursework in the fall. Starting the coursework in the fall, they now have a 2-year process of cohort. That's a cohort, right? Pushes them all the way through the courses. We could try to supplement some of it if we were able to hire a staff member, but they still would have to take a big portion of those courses at the HCC Central Campus because of the lab environment and the requirements that it would take to get through it in 2 years, because there is a cohort model. Being able to do that, though, would give them the 68 total hours. They earn an associate's degree, and then they would also count for 1 of 2 points, right? So students going into the program would meet it even before being accepted as a CCMR point towards accountability because of 9 hours or more of dual credit. They would have to at least get to that point to get there. But then as well as earning the associate's degree also gives them a CCMR point. Each student only counts once, okay? So the total cost of that program if we were in district would be about $12,000. So what we would have to do is negotiate an MOU, which is moving on to our steps, to waive 2 things. 1, to waive the out-of-district tuition, and 2, to waive the current requirement of having a diploma. Students have to currently have a diploma to get into this programming. And then we'd have to provide a budget to recruit and to hire staff to make sure that we can meet that need, as well as some travel and some classroom resources. The travel there, you can see it's about 47 minutes each way, with very minimal traffic. So it really does, the travel could, without having the right kind of MOU and a tight crosswalk, minimize the amount of credit opportunities students can take in high school. However, though, if it all worked out, we would be able to get the students through the program. Okay? So that's the dental hygienist. And then the dental assistant is through our local Kingwood at Lone Star. So it's the closest to us between the two. It is the dental assisting program. It's a continuing ed program. So again, our students would take the dual credit hours immediately upon graduating as they receive their diploma or at least their conferred transcript. Then we would be able to sign them up for the testing. The only test, though, that counts for this one is for CCMR points is the National Dental Assistant exam. And so it's about $350 per student to take the exam. And again, the tuition for this one, because it's 13 credit hours, students would be able to, again, meet that dual credit piece, though, of 9 or more hours for a CCMR point. It's about $5,000 for students who are in district. So again, we have to work with an MOU that will allow us to hopefully minimize that tuition through being out of district. And that's, again, to the IHE. It's to the university to determine that. But on the other hand as well, the commute time's a lot shorter. Okay, so we just wanted to be in your bonnet about looking at the dental hygienist, the dental assistant program, and what those kind of opportunities are. Any questions?
Oh, that's just awesome. How y'all couldn't think of this back in the day when I was going?
Yeah.
You know, what was wrong with their minds back in the day when we were going to school?
It's just that
They had come,
you have to, you may lose other classes.
but this is awesome. This is, y'all setting our kids up to be dynamic.
All right.
So we have a GKD policy review, which deals with some recommendations we received for our facilities. And so Ms. Conklin is going to have a short presentation on that.
Yes, so in reviewing our policy that falls under community relations, non-school use of school facilities, legal has recommended some updates to align with our current procedures and operations of what we're doing. So those updates are listed on your screen, and it's just 2. So on page 1, it would actually include the Panther Zone, which is at Panther Stadium as a district facility not available for non-school use. And then page 3 would add language that includes a fee exception for established business partners that we have in exchange for donations of goods or services, obviously as approved by the superintendent or designee, and if the facility is available. So for example, we have Inspire Church, who provides us with lots of different resources for our schools, backpacks, supplies. If they want to use a room that's on the non-restricted list, they're able to do so in exchange for what they've done for us. And so this is just for a first review at this time. It's not up for a vote. So.
Okay, was it liability issue on the first one? Or
For the
for the
first
Panther
one?
use? I mean, that was, when we built the facility, that was the sole purpose, so that we could use it for community use and outside of school. So I'm not in favor of that, right off the bat, unless there's a extremely good reason why we would. Yeah. Fundamentally, that's what it is.
Yeah, of course, if it's at the request of the board, we will certainly reconsider that, but we do get a lot of requests for Panther Zone, some for school approved type of activities and some that are not. Of course, what we found is that other school districts that have a facility similar to ours that rent it out for, birthday parties, graduation parties, you name it, they're typically off school grounds. And so they're able to do a little bit more like have alcohol, things like that, and all of that good stuff. But for Panther Zone, it's a administrative recommendation, but if this is something that we want to reconsider, only thing I would say is we got to put some parameters around it to say that these types of events are okay and these types of events are not. And then also just making sure that it doesn't interfere with any school use that we needed, whether it be for professional development or anything related to any community events for the school district that we typically use it for. But I'd love to hear, what.
I was gonna say it also, when we open, one of the things that we talked about one time was people want to have a birthday party. It's hard we don't necessarily have someone there watching all the time. And so it's so easy for them to access the stadium and the field. And that's hard to supervise.
we can hire security.
Well, not security, but part of the rental procedures, they're gonna have to pay for an employee or somebody to be there. I mean, it's covered, for me, it's a different way of, you put the cost where if somebody really wants to rent it, they're gonna have to pay. That's it. I mean, I think for just having it for district use, I think that the facility would be very underutilized. I mean, it's a huge facility, it holds 300 people. It's the reason why we built it that way and designed and built it that way for that very purpose. For instance, the one on 59 North, but New Caney, when they first opened theirs, that property was, and I may be wrong, but it was donated and it didn't belong
Correct.
to school district, so they could have alcohol in their end zone facility. So we knew that when we built, we couldn't have alcohol, but we discussed, you know what, they still want to rent, still alcohol.
Right.
So making the criteria and then the price to where it would deter anybody that just wants to come and have Yeah.
Yeah. Is that, okay, so what we'll do is, we'll come back with, some parameters and we'll talk about what that is, but making the Panther Zone a space that can be, rented. We'll just have to, talk about what that price will be and we'll go from there. So maybe we can look at some school districts that have a similar space and try to see what we can get from them and add to make it fit for us.
Yeah, and if we need to, we can do that in a workshop also. We can make sure everybody's on the same page with what we expect and not know. So.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Dearman.
I have how many seconds?
You know,
It's just like Kevin, I'm always at the end. Okay. So, but anyway, just wanted to update y'all on student enrollment. You know, we are a district of innovation, and I just kind of wanted to put the information up here just to kind of reflect back on the guidelines that the district will strive to maintain a 22-to-1 ratio for all pre-K through 4 core classrooms. The district will provide a plan to support the classroom if they remain above the 22-to-1 ratio, and we will notify the board. That's why we're here tonight. If the pre-K 4 grade core classroom exceeds 25-to-1, the campus will contact the parents of the students in the class and inform them of the situation. And as you know, a TEA waiver is not required. So what occurred about 2 weeks into school starting, Carroll Elementary had 2 first grade classes with 32 plus students. We noticed at Sheldon ECA, they had a very low enrollment in kindergarten. So what we did, we consolidated, pulled a teacher from there, and we utilized that teacher at Carroll Elementary to accommodate. Royalwood Elementary, our 4th grade class, bilingual RLA as social studies, currently has 33 students and has had that many since early September. So we did hire a para to put down there to support the classroom, and we also sent notification to the parents to let them know. So currently, where are we now? And I've been watching these numbers on a weekly basis. So now at Cravens, we have 3 classes in kinder with 23 students. At Sheldon ECA, kindergarten, 1 class with 23. Monahan, 3rd grade, 1 class with 23. Carroll, 1st grade class with 23, 1 with 24. 2nd grade, 23, 24. Carroll Elementary, 3rd grade, we have 1 class with 23 students and then 2 classes with 25 students. At Garrett, we have a 3rd grade class with 23 students. At Royalwood, we have 2 2nd grade classes with 23 students, 3rd grade class with 23 students. Sheldon Elementary, 4th grade, we have 1 class with 24 and 1 25. Sheldon Lake Elementary, we have 1st grade class with 24 and a class with 25. So we decided what are the options for supporting these campuses to lower the adult to student ratio. So we have 2 options, and I did change that to be, I don't know how many times. I can prove it to you. It's on my PowerPoint. And every time I go back, it is AA. But anyway, A is to hire additional paraprofessionals or to utilize after-school program staff. So as we begin to look, if we hire additional paras with benefits, I mean, Mr. George, about $25,000, $26,000, $27,000 per person. If we utilize our after-school program staff, they make anywhere from $12 to $15 an hour. For the remainder of the year, it'll be about $8,000 per person. So what we decide to do is go with the part-time staff. And this will provide us with immediate access to workforce support. They already know our kids. They're on the class. These are the people, like at Carroll, we use their after-school program people. They're there. They know the children. We've trained them how to work with our kids. They've been fingerprinted. They're ready to go. The other thing is, as those numbers decrease, let's say we lose a kid or 2, we're not trying to we don't have additional staff. What do we do with them? We're just paying them. These people will just know, hey, you work from day to day as needed. And so with that being said, I got with Dr. Stewart and Dr. Esquerdo, teaching and learning, and what we did provided training for our after-school program staff. They know how to work with the kids after school, but how do I go into a school day classroom work with Miss Williams, the teacher. How do I support you? What do I do? No, I don't just sit in the back of the classroom and look at you. How do I interact with the kids? And then we did some additional support with the teachers. How do I work with additional support? It sounds simple, but sometimes teachers don't know, how do I work with this additional support? And so we are still training, still bringing them in. I'm meeting with the principals individually to determine with Miss Takara Williams, because now she's over after school program, and bringing them in. I've been in the classroom observing, and so far it's going very well. The concern is not that the teachers can't handle 23 kids, but we know when we look at where our students are, especially since COVID, we have some struggles with literacy. So having that extra person in that room with kids that are struggling, we can do more small group instruction. So it has proven to be very effective. Like I said, we're still monitoring these numbers, and we've had some go down, but some are going up because they're still moving in. So I just rushed through it as quickly and as fast as I could. Are there any questions on this process? Yes, ma'am. So I love that idea with the after-school staff. Will they be able to get some PDs when the other parents go in and they go to the PLCs with the teachers? Okay. They go to the PD that we have with teachers. They've been invited. I've worked that out with Dr. Stewart. And actually in January, the PD day, we're going to bring them all back in, and Dr. Scared is going to do a part 2 training with them. So they're getting constant support, constant feedback, and they are loving it. Of course, extra money for them, but they love the kids. And they are really enjoying it. Some of them want to be teachers. Mm-hmm. And so this is preparing them. We keep talking about growing our own. We didn't know how valuable after school program has been to Sheldon ISD, but the parents know them. It's just a seamless process. Okay. Anything else? Okay. I did that in how many minutes? You were next. 5 minutes.
I gotta learn. Okay, that is all. There's no closed session, no comments from the public. We're gonna move on to, we discussed policy on AGKD local, board suggestions, recommendations, agenda items, anything. We'll adjourn at 7:37. The record shows Ms. Palmer arrived at 7 p.m.